Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Musings and Music Show. The musings part of it, of course. That's why if you're watching, you can already see I have a guest. I'm always happy and thrilled when I don't have to just ramble on by myself, when I have somebody to actually talk to, and somebody, of course, who has been well chosen because of one reason or the other, and you're going to find out about that. So I have a guest here with me. We go back a long way, but I'm going to ask her to please, please, please introduce herself to our audience. Who are they going to be listening or watching in the next couple of hours or less?
So thank you so much, my dear EGBE, MBIWAN MONJIMBO, Etonde, if I may add. It's such a pleasure to be on your show today. I've been a great fan from day one, and I enjoy listening to your interviews. So I am really honored to be here today interviewing with you. My name is Joan Ekobena, and I am the CEO of Visiting Angels here in Maryland and DC. I am a wife and a mother of 3. And I really am passionate about home care, about caregiving. So I was delighted when you said, hey, come on the show, let's talk about it.
Right. Full disclosure, this is my classmate from Form 1 in Second Baptist College to Form 5. We started in 76. You see, you cannot tell. She looks like she could actually be back in that school right now, and they'd admit her any day. And so, but we are going to try not to go there, because if we go there on that tangent, we will never get the real reason why she's here, which is to talk about home care, like she has mentioned. And the name she called is Visiting Angels. In fact, the day I said to her, I actually harassed and hijacked her and said, you have to come on this show, is the day she and her husband actually won an award in the Maryland, DC area. What was that award about? Please talk to us about it.
Thank you. And there were actually maybe 3 awards when we celebrated the 20th anniversary of our Visiting Angels franchise. We had an award from our county council, county executive's office. We had an award from our mayor's office, and we actually had our city Visiting Angels Day in GAITHERSBURG from the mayor's office. Okay, our Visiting Angels has a special day, April 9th. Okay, that's a Visiting Angels Day in GAITHERSBURG. We also had the Employer of Choice Award. And this is a very coveted award, I may say. And we are very happy and blessed to have had this award, because it's our employees who said all the good things about us, and that's how we got the award. And then, of course, I got the award from our governor's office, Governor Larry Hogan, for just my integrity and success in managing a successful home care company.
That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. Look at us little people there eating, as they say over there in Sika.
That's right.
I know that you'll get up to this point, hobnobbing with the governor and everything, but it is well deserved, because you really do work hard. Look, I don't mean to be disrespectful to any institution or anything, but we know how things could work in Cameroon, where you could bribe your way to a medal. You could bribe your way to an award. You could sweet talk somebody into doing something, but we all know that out here, when they give you those awards, you've named a string of them, from the mayor's office to the governor's office to your own employees, saying good things about you because they can say them. You know how it is when they say anonymous, you really do it anonymously. You say what it is that you want to say from your heart and soul, and nobody even knows who it is who is saying it. And sometimes, even if they know, what are you going to do to them? So when you have that kind of award, I want people to just get the magnitude of what you have just said, why those awards are important. Because it's not everybody who has them. We have heard all the kinds of scandals and things that are happening there. It's not news to anyone in this country or even back in Cameroon. We all are guilty. We've all forwarded those WhatsApp things that say, hey, see. So when somebody has been around 20 years and has been able to get this thing, trust me, no mayor, no governor is giving any award if they have not looked and seen and made sure that they're not embarrassing themselves by giving an award to somebody who is not worthy of it. That's just the truth. So I wanted to make that clear so everybody knows about that. So what really is Visiting Angels? Who are its founders?
Visiting Angels was started in 1998.
Okay.
So as the corporate office, Visiting Angels, and I'm going to try to make it clear to our listeners that Visiting Angels is a franchise. Okay, it was started in 1998 by two gentlemen, Jeffrey Johnson and Larry Meggs. Okay, one was a social worker and one as a businessman with franchise experience. So they decided to put Visiting Angels together after the social worker in Jeffrey Johnson realized that there could be a better way for seniors or for those who are aging to age in place. He was a social worker in a nursing home. So that was the genesis of Visiting Angels.
That is really something. So when I watch I don't know, everywhere where I've ever been, you turn the TV on, a commercial comes on, and there's the song, the jingle, I don't dare sing it, but Visiting Angels, the #1 thing in home care. So that's not necessarily you. It is a franchise, like you have McDonald's, but it doesn't mean that every McDonald's is owned by the same person. There is the management of a particular branch of it. And so you'll be running, yes, you'll be running, your own is in Gaithersburg in Maryland, is what you're saying?
Yes, so Visiting Angels, like I said, it's a franchise, and the example of McDonald's is very apropos, if I may say. Our corporate office is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, okay? And there are over 650 offices nationwide. We're international as well, in Canada, Mexico, England, and Brazil, or maybe North Korea, South Korea. Anyway, but we have over
South.
right? Over 650 offices nationwide. But my husband Paul and I own and operate 4 of those in Maryland and DC. So we have 3 in Maryland and 1 in DC. Wow. So if you see Visiting Angels in North Carolina, it's probably Visiting Angels in North Carolina owned by another franchisee. Okay. And those who are in our area will probably see one of our on TV.
One of your own ads, personalized, yes. I get it. I get the whole picture, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners get that too. So what is its mission? What is the mission of it? What's the whole purpose? Because I already know where I'm going to go with this when you talk about home care for the elderly. Because you can see, I'm sure you know where I'm going, but to start with, what's the mission? What are the goals? What was it established for? What did they want to really achieve?
So initially, it was to make sure that people can age in place safely and independently. Many years ago, and probably before Visiting Angels, the idea of aging was nursing homes or assisted living.
Right.
Once you get to a certain age where your family may be struggling to take care of you at home for whatever reason, or you don't have any family around, like very common in this part of the world, you know, you go to a nursing home or an assisted living, right? So Visiting Angels wanted to set up a system and make it possible for seniors, or not just seniors, adults who may really need institutional level of care that could be cared for at home, to remain at home, because the statistics show that people age better in their familiar surroundings, right?
You don't have to tell an African that. That's what we know. Mbamba stayed in your house. You grew up there, big mommy. It's a big mommy, so you don't come back from school. Yes, house school. You came back home and you found them there. There's no place to go put them. They grew up they are there with you. It was your job to look after them. Their child look after them. Then we, the children, now we're there to with Mbamba at home. The whole idea of sending somebody to somewhere, it's not what we do.
It's not what we do. And honestly, we had to educate some physicians when we came on board in our area, because they were still of the opinion that assisted living and nursing homes were the best. So Visiting Angels is an alternative to your assisted living and nursing homes. And we had to educate them that we have the systems in place, we have the structure to take care of those who are maybe frail or just whatever their needs are, who prefer to remain at home.
Right.
Not everybody wants to go to a facility. Not everybody is appropriate for a facility
Exactly.
for that matter.
Exactly.
So we had to educate them, and now it's more commonplace where they feel
Right.
more comfortable referring. And visiting angels, goal is to make sure that we provide care in a professional and ethical manner to the care recipient, right? Making a difference to that care recipient, but also giving the family members or the family members peace of mind. Because we are not just taking care of the care recipient, the one who is frail or the one who is recovering from an illness or coming back home from hospitalization or whatever. We have to look at that individual's familiar situation. We have to look at their environment. We have to look at the social aspect, just the more holistic view approach in home care. So we try to make sure that we provide care in a manner that the family members get peace of mind. Because think about it.
In other words, what they see, what you give their loved one is not any different from what they would have done themselves.
Yes.
Or what they would want for their person. Because sometimes it's not even what they will want for themselves. I am sitting here, I won't be able to maybe do what I needed to do with my own mom or dad here. But had I had the energy and the strength and the knowledge that is needed, that's what I would have wanted to do. In other words, if you go to work and you walk outside the home and you go to work, you don't fret and say, what's happening to my mother there? What's happening to my dad? Fretting and putting a little camera everywhere and trying to watch everything because you feel that somebody is abusing them, that kind of thing.
Yes, and that is what I mean by peace of mind for the loved ones, because they get to go to work knowing that their loved ones is in safe hands. They can take vacation, much needed breaks without having to worry. Even if they have to go for weeks, we can have a caregiver in the home 24/7 to make sure that their loved one is cared for around the clock.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. You see, and what you're saying is the reason why I wanted you to please first come on here, because look, things have changed. The time used to be when we would come on out here, go to school, you get your degree, you hop back on the plane, you land back in Douala Airport, they come and welcome you with a big old ashwabi and drums and everything. You've come back home and you'll come and get a government job or something and you'll stay there. Now, more and more, we are staying here. Our parents are back home. We've brought them out here to come and be with us. They stay with us for some time, depending on what their age is or when they first got here. Then after a while, it becomes difficult to look after them, especially with our jobs if you're working your own 9 to 5. So people are really struggling with that. Either they have had to come to the most people that I know are not in a hurry to send their parents to any place, but they've had no choice but to send them to the facilities you're talking about, assisted living and other places. And then if they had a preference, which is what you're telling them now, they do have a choice, a viable choice to decide to have their parents stay home in familiar circumstances, familiar scenery, familiar everything, know that that is the home of their child, and instead have the person come to visit. Just like I would imagine about the difference between going to the hospital and having a doctor's visit. Like back in the day, the doctor you see them with a little bag like this and a little stethoscope, and we're going home to home, as opposed to some people just even seeing a hospital frightens them, they freak out. So they'd rather stay home. And I'm thinking specifically of our aging parents who are bothering with things like dementia, Alzheimer's, changing their environment, as we all know, well, I do know because my mother suffered from that, is already a big problem because it disorients them. They need more, they already are disoriented. How much more if we move them from their familiar setting of being in their own, a home that they've been in, to someplace new with people that are all strange. So that's it. What got you to choose this? How did you get there one bright day?
Oh dear. I guess I've always been a caregiver at heart. And from banking and finance and school and jobs and IT and some nursing, the time came when my husband and I decided to go into business for ourselves. And having worked for some home care agencies in the area myself, and haven't seen the way employees were treated, especially the field staff, the caregivers.
The actual people who do the work.
Absolutely. I knew within me that I could do better. I could bring a different spin into the whole home care arena, in the sense that employees need to feel that they are part of the continuum. They are part of the home care, healthcare continuum. They have to feel that their career is a noble one, that they're not just a number out there filling cases and all of that. And so we decided to go into home care, and that was one of our goals, to make our employees feel appreciated for what they do, because it takes a special person to be a caregiver.
Oh, tell me about it.
Not everybody is cut out to be a caregiver.
Definitely not.
And our philosophy is that a happy employee makes a happy client. And I know many companies say the client is number one, right? Treat the client right, client pays the bills and all of that.
And they don't worry about the...
We had an employee before we had a client. And we still have this mindset that if you take good care of your employees, they'll take care of your clients by default.
Right.
And that is how it's been for us. And I just want to shift a little bit to what you talked about earlier about our aging parents and folks, our generations out here in the diaspora, be it in the US or in Europe or wherever. That population is really growing.
Yes, it is.
It is growing. We are aging ourselves. We, at our visiting angels office, we call folks like us the sandwich generation. Correct. Because we have children to take care of, and our parents to take care of, spouses, jobs, you name it. And it can be very challenging. And I hope our viewers, or those who actually get to listen to this conversation someday, would want to think differently about our culture or tradition. Like, okay, I can do it myself. I have to take care of mom. Everybody would love to do that, right? But the reality is that some of us have to work. Some of us run businesses. Some of us, whatever we do, or we take care of our children, it can be challenging. For them to know that there are options out there, there are resources to help us. Right. We work hard, we pay taxes. It's time to let those, take advantage of the resources that our tax monies have been able to afford others. Right. Let's not get stuck on the culture, tradition, or how would my family think, or how would my friends look at me, and then we suffer in silence. Right. There are so many resources out there to help anyone. And if anybody is listening and they need guidance or any help, please feel free to reach out. My hope is that we can get this word out and empower one another.
And even, you're very right, you're 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more. And even just free ourselves from this guilt. Yes. But it's a funny thing. We have to do a whole bunch of mind shifting from the way we've always done things. And the fact that you've always done it like this doesn't mean you should continue that way no matter what. There's the time when, hey, die day, married day, you, the one person who was the mother of the bride or whatever it is, you will cook that cookie, cook the everything, blah, blah, blah. Now who is doing that? You find a caterer to do it. And you come looking pretty like you should look, like that mother of the bride or the mother of the something, instead of coming there, sweat is coming out of your eyebrow. I see your eye, the pus, worried about what is going on there. No. Find a person who used to, who's get the plate, from the plates to the everything to do. So even that kind of, look at that mind shift at that level, it's time for us to also do these kinds of things, which, because our lives are not even exactly like our mothers. When our mothers were doing that kind of a thing, they were stay-at-home moms, most of them, with all the time in the world to do that. Here, you're sitting here, there are bills to still pay, there's stuff to still that needs to still happen. So you come exhausted from your whatever job you do and try to look after your mom or dad too. Then you get irritable, and then you get short-tempered with them, and then you feel guilty again that you haven't been nice and kind to your mom. But you're only human.
Yes.
So what may be better is if what you're saying there is that if you got somebody to come to the home, pleasant and nice person, a make-believe sister of yours, sibling of yours, who loves that mother of yours, and who has not only the energy, because that's their job, the training to spot what's there and to do, because they are doing it as their job. They are there to do that, to take care of the person. So I am with you on that, and I'm talking to whoever's listening here, has the aging mom there, that for you to now resent them, because I've spoken to one or two. I tell you, mommy go just kill me, mommy go just kill me. Yeah, okay. And I know that in their heart of hearts, they would rather not have to be talking that way about their mom, but they're speaking like that because they're frustrated. They're at their wits' end. They just came back from how many hours of whatever it is. As you said, the sandwich thing, they have the children too who have their own issues that they're trying to send to college and all of that stuff. Then they have mommy and papa above them too. Not easy at all.
Yeah. So what home care affords them is to have that peace of mind and be and remain a daughter or a son, right? Not a caregiver per se. We're always going to be caregivers, but you want to have that quality time that you can spend with your loved one. And I know some may be listening and saying, okay, that if I can't afford this, and when should I start? There's so many resources out there. You don't have to pay out of pocket in many cases. And sometimes we think, oh, like in my county, Montgomery County, Maryland, we have programs where the income that is taken into consideration is not the daughter or son's income, but is the care recipient's income. Now, this 80-something, 90-something, or 70-something year old, how much do they have? So most of the times they will qualify for that program. And some of these programs take a long time to be approved, right? So we should not wait until we get to the point where we're pulling our hair off.
It's an emergency.
It's an emergency. We should start the process sooner. And some people may want to talk to elder law attorneys, but some people may just go online, you know, and see what is available at their county or state level that can provide some relief, some respite for them.
Right. Because there's nothing like sorry, go on.
I was just going to add one more thing, because going back to the issue of our culture is hospice care. Sometimes we don't want to talk about it, you know, okay, we want to pray about it, we don't want to talk about it.
Like it's not like if we don't talk about it, it will not come.
Exactly.
So you can sit here and all day and never mention the word death. That will help you be here for 300 years. It will not.
It will not. So that's some discussion that we need to start opening up in our communities, because we usually don't talk about that. We usually just keep it private. We don't even, you know, sometimes it's challenging to bring that conversation up with our parents, right?
Don't go there. Oh my Lord.
Some family member will say, oh, are you trying to kill them?
To kill me, yes.
Yeah, but you know, out here there are resources again to help us. And I remember teaming up with our local hospice agencies here to reach out to churches, to African American churches, because it's not just, you know, us maybe from Cameroon or from Africa, but the African Americans here have the same mindset, at least at that level, right? So we had events at those churches to let them know that, hey, this is not a taboo. It's not going to reflect poorly on you. These are resources out there, things to help you, and you don't have to wait until the person is almost going to be pronounced dead a day or two before you can start. There's palliative care that can be started way sooner to help.
Correct. And if they're going to be, because sometimes it's also the matter of like, look, I was already saying that and saying to myself, there's sometimes so you need to actually look. Some homes have stairs and everything. You really even physically cannot, because there's a lot of people there even where it's the home is set up. It's a single mom that's in there. You see, it's not even a mom and dad. You can say you hold one side, I'll hold the other side. We'll try to bring mommy downstairs. No, it's just you. What are you going to do? as they say, baba the person on your head, on your back, your own back. If your back is like my own here, you can't.
Yeah.
You really can't. No matter how you would like to, you can't. Sometimes it's not embarrassing to or a sin or something you should be guilty or about to ask for help, to get the needed help. Find out at least what is out there before you at least say, because as a who not even want to give it any thought. I don't want to hear no. And sometimes, unfortunately, too, let's be fair to our peers. It is the mommy herself or the papa himself who is saying, I don't want to hear it, and making you feel like, okay, if you do it, then it's against their wish and everything. So I don't know which mommy or papa will be listening. Please don't make your daughter or your son feel bad. And then, well, I don't even say what mommy or papa will be listening. If we ourselves are listening, we are the eventual mommies and papas too.
That's
so let's
right.
also we get that mindset already ready. Let's not be doing this, and then when our own time comes, we tell our children, if you send me to that place,
there you go.
Your curse is going to follow you and make the poor thing feel bad. Because
it's interesting you mentioned that, Sunday, because I will be on a panel for our county commission on aging on Thursday, and one of the things I'll be talking about is having that conversation. How do you even introduce it?
Right.
You know, I'll be giving tips on having that conversation with your loved one or your aging parent about home care, because you're right. We see situations where the care recipient, that is the mother or the father or the person receiving the care, is resisting care, right? And then the children are like, oh dear, what do we do? You know, and we have suggestions for those situations as well.
So when is that going to be a public discussion, a public debate, a public thing?
I believe so, but I don't know how far-reaching it is.
All right, whether it's something which people can tune into, you don't know. If you have the details, I would not mind sharing them, so people can also.
Yes, I think I'll see, because it's a public forum.
Okay.
And I believe there's a Zoom account for those who will not be there in person. So I'll try and
find out if it's only for personnel related to the field, or if it's for the public, and then let us know.
Yeah, it is for the public. That the commission is trying to create more awareness and encourage more people to look at home care. Because even the big insurance companies now realize that home care, especially non-medical home care, which is what we do, is a vital piece to that healthcare continuum. Because if we can arrest some situations before they get out of hand, then the individuals don't have to go into the hospital. It doesn't have to cost the insurance company more money, right? So they're now coming up with they're realizing
what is the need for them, how it helps they themselves too.
That's right. Coming up with solutions to ensure that people can benefit from non-medical home care early on.
Yes, and another thing I just thought about, which is when we talk about culture, when we had Bamba staying with us at home there, first of all, as I was saying, it may be that our own mothers were still at home, mothers who would be there with their mother, who would be our grandmother there at home. And barring that, what used to happen with a little later on is that you had this person who wasn't quite going to school, who had dropped out of school, who just lives in the house and is content to have their meals and their upkeep taken care of, and then they look after Big Mommy. That's where are you going to find that kind of person here? There's not going to be anybody you can come find here who you're going to put in your house. I think they're looking for some jail time to put in your house, whose job is going to be to look after Mommy and not be going to school and not have a job. So we need to think about the fact that it's not the same. It's not the same thing anymore. And so we have to find fresh solutions, innovative solutions for what used to be is the same problem, the same issue of parent care, or just somebody, as you said, it's not even only the parents. Somebody may be indisposed due to some accident, due to something where they cannot get around. Unfortunately, and that's where visiting angels will come. So what are the hours you can get? As you said, is it so 24/7? It depends on what the person, each patient needs. Is that how it works?
It is. It's customized. It's highly customized to the needs of the care recipient. And sometimes they don't fully understand the situation, the challenges that they may face if they don't engage services like visiting angel services. and we have to educate them
Mm-hmm.
because some are concerned about how they're going to be paying for it. Some are concerned that they don't want somebody around the clock in their home.
Mm-hmm.
And piggybacking to what you said about the children like us,
Mm-hmm.
over the years of been providing services, right? We've realized from our experience that the ones who are the family caregivers, in which case it could be you and I, or it could be that family member who decided to stay home and care for Big Mommy or so, they usually end up getting sick or getting injured because they're putting all the burden on themselves. They feel like, I have to do this. This is my responsibility. And they don't take a break. They overstretch, their abilities. Sometimes they want to help the person down, both of them fall down, or whatever. So that is something that...
And then they just never take a break because you cannot go on vacation. The person is there permanently alive. And if you're going to help them brush their teeth, help them take and shower, give them a bath, kind of a thing, give your own self a bath and your own children, take care of them, you will never have a break. And there's nobody who can work like that. No breaks, no vacations, nothing. You will snap at some point.
Yes. So the services, again, they are highly customized. We go out, we do an assessment, and we had the break where, because of COVID, we could not go out. Some of that was done virtually, but we're back into in-person assessment where nurses will go out and assess the loved one and come up with a customized plan that will be used by the caregiver, the visiting agent's caregiver, to provide care. And then the nurses would follow up with supervision, periodic supervision, to make sure everything is okay. And there may be times when we need to revisit and review and revise that plan that was created for the individual. And
like if their condition, if they become more dependent on the then it has to change a little bit because they are aging. It's not as if you can have somebody, they say you have that person, hire them now. By the end of the year, by the end of next year, they may be able to do a little less on their own independently than they were a year before, 2 years before that. So all of just as we are changing, and you just realize all of a sudden I'm squinting more, trying to read things in front of me. I'm like, this is not how I was, this wasn't happening last school year.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, how come I can't read this anymore? So those little shifts and things are happening as we age. That's just part of the process. I'm so glad I had you come and talk about this. But so if people want to find where living, you don't offer your own services out of state, do you?
No.
You're only licensed to practice where it is that you are.
Yes, unless I'm consulting. I do offer consulting services as well to help others who are looking to get into the home care space. Then I can do that out of state. But for our caregiving services, it's within the licensed territory.
Yes, I get it. So for people who are in the Gaithersburg area, people who are in Maryland, so but it's the entire state, not just the Gaithersburg now that you can do, or your specific branches where you are, or can you just say, okay, you are in Gaithersburg, there, somebody in Bowie, somebody in Laurel, you can send your staff to go be there. Does it matter if it's?
So it depends. Those are some of the challenges that we deal with. I know we're going to talk about challenges, but we have territories. Okay, each franchise has a territory that they operate in. But we have an office in Gaithersburg. We have one in Silver Spring. So we pretty much cover Montgomery County, Maryland. We have another office in Edgewater near Annapolis, Maryland, which covers Arundel and PG County.
Correct.
And then an office in DC for the DC area.
Okay, so people who are listening, either you live there yourself, or you have family out there, or you have you are the sister whose mother is living with your brother, your sibling in the Maryland area there, and calls you every night to say, look, I've had it. I will send it for you. I will send it for you.
And this is not a joke. We see this happen all
you think I'm saying it out of the air. Look, you have these conversations. I can tell you. So you see the people that you see, like you go to, when I go to visit the Maryland area or the Silver Spring area, there's the Presbyterian Church Silver Spring there, which Presbyterian Church, which is like in Tamulung or Down Beach Church, like for all you know. CWF is there, CMF is there. Those people that you see there, some of them are aging. And that's where either they're at that point now or they're getting to that point right now. And whoever it is that has which sibling is living there with them is saying, I'm tired. And then sometimes they say, okay, may come back holiday for you. Mommy don't come holiday, don't come tight for day, you know, they won't come back or blah, 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 all that kind of all kinds of things. Common stories. You and I know that that's the truth. So if we found this solution, then everybody could come, even instead for Thanksgiving there, come for Christmas there, with mommy's comfortable in the home she's used to. All of you don't now go and start visiting her in some strange place where the time has come, time to go. And then mommy's looking so sorrowfully as people are leaving and that kind of a thing, as opposed to being in your own house. So it's something to really, really seriously consider. And
if you don't mind, if I can add to that, visiting angels will do the best to care for the loved one at home. But there may come a time when that loved one needs to go into a facility. So we are not downing the decision to have a loved one in a facility, not at all. But we're saying before you think about that, consider home care if your circumstances are right.
And that's what you do, that's why you do consultations. You go and look at the whole thing, and you don't take on something that you cannot do, not promise something that you cannot really take care of. So you see if that person, that individual specific case fits what you can, the services that you are offering, and then you can talk to the person about it. And then you can, as you're saying, there may be a situation where no, it doesn't, you can't do it, you can't help, in which case that's what you do. But in that case, then you yourself, now the child, don't feel guilty. You've been told officially that this cannot be handled here. If not, all of us will keep our sick persons at home. But can you do chemo? You can have a machine to do chemo at home? No. Radiation? No, you can't. Even dressing of some wounds, you know. So that's why you take people to the place which can do it. But we're saying, as far as is possible, if it's your preference or the preference of the person in question to stay home, then why not have the consultation, see if it's possible, and at least then have that option, at least for as long as you even can, even if it changes down the road and you say it gets to the point where, okay, now this one we can't handle, they do have to go to the hospital or something like that. So you've kind of already touched on the challenges, things where the person themselves is sitting. What other challenges do you face? Do you have cases where the person is just not kind at all to their angel? I suspect.
You know, I kept thinking in my mind, you know, over and over the years, that we have to do a collaboration sometime. Maybe do a book together, and it will be, I don't know what the best term to use to describe it, because some of those challenges will make you laugh out loud. Some of them will make you cry. Some of them, you're like, you know, we go to work, we work hard, and sometimes you want to cry, but you want to maintain that professionalism. You know, in healthcare, they say you have to be empathic, not sympathetic and pathetic, and you just hold back those tears. But sometimes you just laugh out so much that you're like, wow.
You realize you're talking to a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. I know.
The same thing you're saying. Sometimes you're like, are you for real? You ask the child, like, what is going on in your head? You know, that kind of a thing where, but there's certain things that you cannot even say, which of course look, teachers in our own day back in Cameroon, you could say that they actually would call you a name, idiot, or whatever it is that the person is saying, which you dare not open your mouth and say out here and call somebody's child mumu. But they're sitting down there and biting their lip and going, is this child for real? He's sitting there, he has not done his homework, he has not done. What you really want to do is spank that kid, but you cannot.
You cannot, yeah.
As you're saying, even pretty much any job, you're working at the post office, you're working at the cashier thing, and somebody just comes up and is terribly rude and everything, but you know, as they say, you have to be professional.
Yes.
So you sit down there and you take something. And I can imagine in the case of visiting angels, you're already dealing with somebody who already is not very pleased with life.
Oh dear, I listen, you know, we have the day-to-day operational challenges,
Right.
and now with the they call it the great resignation, there's a labor shortage. So we deal with those on, you know, on a day-to-day basis. But sometimes we don't we don't see the, or we don't, they're not so upfront, the emotional challenges that come with the job.
Right.
And you may find yourself in a situation where you want to judge, and you just hold yourself.
Correct.
You want to cry, you hold yourself. You want to hug, and there are so many of those. I've come across so many. I remember one that I kind of try to get out of my mind when I think about this lady's situation. I was called to go and do an assessment, but when I went there, you know, you ring the bell, wait for somebody to say hello, come in, or come to the door. But there was no response. And I kept knocking. Then I realized the door was a little ajar. It was not closed
shut all the way.
Yeah. So I pushed it a little bit and said, hello. I heard a voice, very faint voice on the back. Come in, like, come in. So I was like, okay, should I go in or should I not go in? It was getting late in the evening. So I just said, well, let me go see. So I pushed the door, went in. Oh my God. This lady had a terrible burn. She was sitting in a recliner and she could barely talk. It's as if everything in the home had been removed. Maybe she was moving or what, I don't know. There was just the recliner in the home, nothing in the refrigerator, nothing. I couldn't hold back the tears. And all I could ask her, have you eaten? Are you hungry? I said, have you eaten? She shook her head.
I may have been more than a day.
She had not eaten. So I kept opening her, you know, kitchen cabinet.
To find something to just even give her.
And I found this jar of peanut butter. It was hard that I had to, you know, put it in warm water, sit it in warm water to get it, you know, to loosen up a little bit. And I fed her. She could only eat 2 teaspoons of peanut butter. I gave her some water. She drank. And I said, you know, do you live alone? Where's your daughter? She said her daughter lives 10 minutes away. That is a situation where you bite your tongue. You don't want to say anything because you don't know the story behind it, right? But, you know, it's challenging when you see situations like that, or someone is dying and the family are afraid, or the caregivers are afraid, and you have to deal with the situation. You know, it's difficult, and then you bring that home, you know, so it even compounds, and it's challenging. That when you, on the flip side, get a call from a client who is over the hills about their caregiver, what the difference is made.
Right.
It's very
it compensates a million times for the 1, 2, 3 ones that don't do. That's how it is. Yeah. That's how it is, because that is my experience too. You come there and somebody will just come and just say, just give you a hug and just say thank you. And just say, hope you have a nice day, bye, before they go out the door. As opposed to the finger that somebody else is giving you the finger over there. So that's how pretty much it is. And we are hoping that the training that somebody has gotten, you know, that's part of it comes with the territory. Yes. You come prepared to know that it's like that. Not that if somebody is mean to you, it does not hurt you, but then it's not the end of the world. You know that happens. Yeah. Let me take this opportunity to share this, right? So we had a gentleman, and he was a quadriplegic from age 30. He had a swimming accident. Wow. Yeah. So he had to have some bowel regime, you know, to help him. And every holiday, the nurses will call off, right? Because it was Mother's Day, July 4th, Christmas, or whatever. And I had to go take care of him if it fell on one of those days when he had his regime. This gentleman was over 300 pounds. I had to get him out of bed and put him in a chair, motorized chair, using a Hoyer lift. I know you're looking at me like, what?
I had to use a wire lift. It wasn't easy though, but you know, you're trained to do that. And the good thing with this gentleman is every time you go, the caregivers, when they're leaving, he will pray with them. So that made me feel so appreciated, and just so good to know that somebody values, you know,
your time, your effort, and everything.
Yes. And this one holiday, Paul was like, "That's my husband." He's like, "Okay, let me accompany you. Let's go." I said, "Okay, come on, let's go." And we got in there. He had on a shirt, a short sleeve shirt. His home was always very warm, but this day Paul had on a short sleeve shirt, and went there. I was like, "Okay, so what do we do?" I said, "Well, maybe you can help me get him out." Once we were done with the bowel regime and all of that, I said, "Help me get him onto his motorized chair." I was like, "Okay, how do I do that?" Okay, this is how you do it. By the time he was done, he was sweating like a pig. I was like, "Oh my God, this is what the caregivers go through." I said, "I'm so glad you came to see for
Come see for your own self." Yes, yes. The same thing. People think it's the same thing. Like say, what is there in teaching? No. My old husband, when he came here to now, the moment he came here to decided to just say, okay, why not try substitute teaching? He left halfway through before the day was over. They said, where is he going? They hope he realizes that this is only lunch break and the kids are coming back after. He said, no, they said, okay, come on. He says, no, don't need to sign. Don't even need to pay me for the time I've been here. I'm going on this door. I can't put up with this stuff. So it really is to do that anybody can. So lunch break halfway through the day, his first day there, he was like, I'm done, can't be doing this. So it's true that people are cut out for certain jobs.
Yes.
They're cut out for certain jobs. And sometimes it takes walking in somebody else's shoes to see just how it is. It's not as simple as you think to go and experience it. Not that you necessarily thought that it was easy, but to go and actually physically do it.
Yes. And
you realize that that you are more appreciative and respect somebody's job more. And you see, having done that, both of you having done that, are now able, when you have your employees, to not just say, oh, you're just grin and bear it kind of a thing, because you know that's the difference.
So you've been there, done that, and sometimes it's a male client, and these were the early days now.
Right.
And it was a male client whose caregiver called out, nobody to go last minute. He went. And so we know firsthand what
your personnel, what your employees are going through.
And that is why we value them so much. That is why, you know, when we hire someone in the office, I categorically let them know the same respect, the same courtesy that you extend to a client, you extend to the employee.
That's it. And you have their back, and not necessarily listen when the patient or the client complains, you automatically take their side because the client is king, as they say. And it's amazing how similar the professions are, because the same thing happens when you have a principal who used to be in the classroom. You have a superintendent who once taught elementary school, then high school, then this, so he knows what is going on there. And so when they listen to somebody come and the parent comes and says this and that, they are like, I'll take that with a pinch of salt, because I know from experience what may be going on there. It's an amazing thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Generally, your employee, because it doesn't happen all the time. Somebody's just doing a business. It's a franchise. I own a business. I run it according to the economics of it, to the finances of the whole thing. And it says so in the book. It's what we do. Very different from somebody who has been there, done that, like you say. So I would say I would recommend it, just even because it's you and because it's Paul. I recommend it any day. On top of what you've actually said here, clean and clear. So I would advise people to just go check it out. If you're there in that Maryland, Silver Spring area, check it out. Once you've come to looked at this thing squarely, we have our things. We all know it. We don't write wills. Hey, don't mention it. Which will? It means you call die. Then something happens, and then everybody's fighting everywhere, and there's chaos. We have our things that we don't do, but it's time for us to start doing some of those things. Maybe looking at them, considering them, planning accordingly, getting our minds, doing a mind shift. So what's your vision for the future? Where do you see this going? How would you hope for things if things could be improved, get any better than they are now? What would you wish, what would you hope to see?
One of the things that we would like to see, or the change that we would like to see, is caregivers, home caregivers, coming to realize that caregiving is a noble profession, because many of them think it's a stepping stone to nursing and to other, but it's a career on its own, right? And it's a very noble one at that. So we hope that we can change the way employees see the work that they do.
The job that they do. Exactly. Like it, love it, and feel that it is,
yes,
do it proudly.
Accomplished, that they can feel accomplished in being a caregiver. Nothing wrong with going on to do something else, but for those who choose to remain as caregivers, they should realize that it is a very, very noble profession, and it is very valued and appreciated. And how do we do that? By how we treat them, by how we make them feel, how we respect them, how we make sure that they get paid, what they deserve, and they get paid on time, all of that. And also with advocating, whether it's at the county level, the state level, or the federal level, or all those senior home care organizations that we belong to shed more light and to have policies passed or laws passed that would favor and empower the caregiver.
Interesting. It didn't occur to me that that's an issue, that's a problem. But when you talk about it, I see how that could be an issue, how that could be a problem, and how then it can make them feel like, okay, I don't want to do this. I will want to go to I want to get, this is only something that I will do temporarily till I can get better, till I can get to something else. And they don't understand, wow, I see so many similarities. You see someone look at it, okay, when do you want to go and be principal? When do you want to go and be the administrative, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, no, I don't. This is actually what I like to do. I like to be in that classroom. I don't want to. It's the thing. And the reason is because, as you say, people don't respect the profession and act and treat the people in a certain kind of way. So it's considered, no, why do you want to go be that? Like that.
Exactly.
The same way. Wow. And I'm sure if we looked at into it too, it will be even gender issues will be there, because I'm sure most of the angels are female.
Yes.
And then you now have a male one who's there saying, you want to go be what are you doing there, like a male secretary in an office? Oh my gosh, what are you, a secretary? I can just imagine the things, how the issues that can happen there. And then maybe the children in the home saying you are just there to clean granny, and so look at the thing. I can just imagine where that's coming from, which is also part of the whole deal, and will make the employee not want to think of that as their career for a lifetime.
Our population is aging, especially here in they say in 2030, I believe, the senior population would have grown so much that there will not be enough caregivers to help. And with the rate at which Alzheimer's and dementia is increasing, the diagnosis of those, where would the help come from?
Exactly.
Right. So our vision is to make sure that we can encourage more of those who choose to make caregiving their career feel fulfilled in doing that.
Right.
And at the same time, be able to make a good living, whatever that good living is to anyone, and feel good about it.
Right. They should not have to go pick up some other little bits and pieces of things to do outside of that job to be able to make it, which is what happens to teachers. They're like, okay, the summer, most of them don't get paid over the summer. So they're there waiting tables, painting homes, mowing lawns to be able to do that. No, they shouldn't have to do that. It should actually be that they're taken care of, because their job is worth it.
Yes.
And it's the state that does this. That's why the lobbying is necessary to go get them, because society will also treat you the way that government seems to have put you at a certain level. Then they can, the students themselves are saying, but what do you make? They look at the pay scale there and say, but my dad makes more than you, or so and so makes more than you. I would if I went and did. That's not that. I see where you're coming from with that. It's important. It's important And I hope all of this gets people thinking, and let's try to make those modifications, those mind shifts that we need to make. But before we go, I want us to go completely off on a different tangent, because very recently, as recently as today, on the class forum on which we both are, a class of 1981, Second Baptist College. Let me see if I can find the picture that showed up there. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can share my screen. Ta-da! There it is. This is what we all got to see, and it was the talk of the day on our forum. That's your name proudly there, Joan Ekobena.
Yes.
And this is a book you've written. It says, "Money locates you." I'm like, where are you, money? Come locate me. So first off, congratulations. Congratulations. Having done one of these out this year too, look, I know what it must have taken you to get this together and put it out there. So let me get off this for the time being. The Money Locates You. It says your guidebook to creating true riches, which means there's false riches in your life. So let me just stop the share and we come back to this so you can tell us a little bit about it. Congratulations. And it says Money Locates You. What's the whole deal with this?
I know I have been getting so many comments and kudos, and some are really hilarious, but what I'm trying to do is change the conversation around money. On two fronts. One on money beliefs and how we go about acquiring money or earning money. Traditionally, it's hard work, or let me back up, go to school, first, from where we come from, first degree, right? Postgraduate, why not doctorate? Get that good job, your dream job, and then now here where we are in the diaspora, it's not just one job, it's two jobs, sometimes three jobs. And we don't
night shifts, kind of shifts.
Sometimes we don't even spend time in the homes that we
have actually that's the irony of it all.
Yes. And so that is what the book is about. Is that still the case? Do we still have to work so hard to make money? And what are those? Yes, why don't we position ourselves from our mindsets, our beliefs, and our actions, and whatever, position ourselves emotionally, physically, and spiritually for it to be easier for that money to come to us instead of us chasing it.
Correct. So that we will be, as in a certain kind of way, where we will instead attract it. Will be the magnet, and the money will find will
the magnet. Yes.
You pull up your antenna and like lean out the window and say, "Come here, come here, come here."
Hey, there's something about the antenna in the book too. So
you see,
I'm glad
you should write that book.
But traditionally, I mean, where we come from, and not just us. I don't want to just limit it to us. Most of third world countries is like just hammering on the time for money, beliefs, and hard work. It doesn't have to be so. If you want to work hard, and in fact, there's research out there that shows that those who really, really make the money, they don't work physically as much as those who don't have it. Okay, so I'd rather be on the other end, right? And manifest that money with less effort.
Right, like the effort that the Bombay boy does in the Buyuka Park there, sweating away. It's not what the CEO sits back in his chair and is sitting down there kind of making, physically speaking, about how much sweat you put out there. This you will earn your living out of from the sweat of your brow. So people, it is literal. If the sweat is not dropping, you're not making a dime. Whereas there's whether there's other ways to actually kind of do what it takes and position yourself, like you say, where you are not really, it does not become even a whole an obsession where you're actually scraping and scrounging, because you cannot be happy that way. You cannot be happy that way if your life is really.
You cannot. And those beliefs that we have, we are actually sabotaging ourselves.
Right.
because of the beliefs that we have about money and other things, maybe prosperity and so forth. So I talk about that a lot in the book, and my hope is that the reader will come out a different person.
Mm-hmm.
They will have a different understanding of themselves. I talk about self-awareness, but a more holistic approach to self-awareness, looking at the spiritual side of it as well, and actually understand the truth that the money is actually seeking to come to you and through you. But because of some of the things I discussed in the book, we are actually blocking,
placing barriers
that flow into our life.
Wow.
And I consider the book to be the foundation or the first step to wealth creation, because like I say in the book, there are gurus out there, financial experts. They tell you about stocks. Now it's blockchain, crypto, and NFTs and all those things, right? 401ks and mutual funds. We know all of those.
Right.
But if you have the foundation that I've established in the book,
then
those
will fall into place as opposed to so you start there first.
Exactly.
And it is put in a space where you are open to these other things coming to add onto it. Oh, so when is the book going to be launched? Is it already? It's not launched yet, is it?
It's not launched yet. I'm targeting this month for the ebook launch. So I hope your viewers will stay tuned with updates, and or they can follow me on social media, Joan Ekobena. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or our website is www.premierdestiny.com, or just
Premier like Premier,
the French way.
Okay.
The French way, PREMIERE.
Okay, that's good to make that distinction.
Yes.
Okay.
Premier Destiny, and to get updates on the launch. So the ebook version will be coming out first, and then the paperback will be coming out
later.
Yes.
Yep. So we better all be. We are sitting here. Nobody wants to actually be doing much more sweat than they need to be doing. So we'll be looking out for that and checking out to make sure. And once it does come out, I will be definitely updating the viewers to let them know where it's out there now. Here's how to get it. Is it Amazon that's likely to be selling it, or?
Yes, it's going to be on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the Amazon, different countries where Amazon is. Yeah, Barnes and Nobles, Porchlight, and there's another one. Yeah, but Amazon mostly. Mostly,
because that's what people do for other things. That's what you just simply sit and place an order and forget about it, and it comes right to your doorstep there in record time if you're doing the Prime thing. Right, and then for other countries, like outside of Amazon territory, like can people want money to locate them too there? So how do they get?
those ones will have a book page. There will be a book page, moneylocatesyou.com.
All right.
It's not finalized yet. Moneylocatesyou.com will be the book.
Because all you need for that in that case would be Wi-Fi. The same Wi-Fi that you need for WhatsApp. You use it for this one to go find it there. That's good. So they should not say that they didn't think that they themselves could benefit. You didn't think they could benefit. So that's
we all can benefit from money.
We all can benefit from money locating us. Trust me about that. That is a very interesting title that you found right there. I hope it hits the bestsellers list fast.
That is my wish, and I believe that it is already.
Good.
Okay, I'm speaking it forth that it is.
We speak what we don't see yet. We call it as though it is, as though it were. That way I call it into existence. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on some very serious platforms in the days ahead, when that book hits the market and it starts being sold, the version, the paperback itself, and that it makes the New York Times, what is it, New York Times bestseller. Correct.
Yes.
Hey, I'm calling the thing.
That's right.
Yes, I'll find, well, the day when you're actually having the big thing there, I'll find a big old different letter and come sit there to you in the audience. I'm like, that's my classmate over there.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, yes, yes. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Joan. I tell you, it was bound to be one. But then it's not even that we had to do a little chit chat things about other seeker stuff. The actual material that you shared here, the actual wisdom that you shared, the actual facts that you shared, I know have been very beneficial to our audience, to the listening audience, to the viewing audience. You've given us a lot of food for thought right there. And even just in terms of inspiration, for somebody to see that you can come on out here, work hard, not necessarily sweat yourself out into a pulp, but work hard and get to where you and Paul have gotten to. Congratulations for Visiting Angels. Congratulations for the book.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you too. I know your book. I see it back there. I have a copy.
Yes,
and
you do.
Those, yes, Victoria's Jewel. It's actually a jewel indeed. I know there's not talking much about it, but please go to Amazon and get your beautiful copy. It is very well done, and I have mine sitting on my coffee table, and once in a while I will just open it and go to Mother V's page of our classmate or just read something funny that I never knew happened in Theka, like the class of 1979.
That did not graduate. That did not have the graduation ceremony.
Yes.
Or the dining hall fire. It's just those kinds of things which are actually just laughable, and then some pictures from those days.
Yeah.
Yes, it's worth it, and I'm proud of you for it, and I thank you for even plugging my book more than even I am doing. Thank you so much. You have a last closing word for the audience of who are listening?
Well, for those who have been listening, please continue tuning into Vosaworld. I know Vosaworld is on Saturdays for those of us in the US, 9:30.
Right, 9
US time, right? AM. Please continue listening. She has so many nuggets of wisdom from the individuals that she interviews, or just sharing information herself. But for home care, as it pertains to home care, I hope those of us here will start at least thinking about it. Let's not wait until it's too late. Start doing your research. Start reaching out to your colleagues or to your friends. I'm available if you need to reach out to me to just chat and say, hey, how do I start this conversation with my mom? I'll be very glad to help. And as for the book, I really hope and pray that everybody gets to read it, as long as you can read. The audiobook is going to be coming up too for those who prefer listening. I do a lot of reading.
Which is what fits with some people's lifestyle.
That's right.
They're
I do a lot of
reading,
reading,
driving, and anything. You put it in there and just listen as you go.
Yes, that we start thinking about money in a different light. It is our right. It's our birthright, and I'm speaking as a Christian, to be affluent, to live the abundant life that our Lord and Savior came to give us. Right. And we should not let anything.
You just quoted scriptures that He came down that we might have life and have it in abundance. That was the whole chorus that we sang.
That's right. That's right. So we should not let anything come between us and the abundance.
Instead, people think that the people who actually think that it's a virtue to be poor, you're really carrying yourself like they suffer. The more they suffer, the more the holier you are. Believe it or not, there's someone crazily sitting there thinking, no, hey, lipstick, earring, no,
yeah.
It's the idea of how that's what nuns do and monks do. That's a choice that they've made. Are you sitting out here in the world and not supposed to go through life just struggling and suffering and unhappy?
That was never the intention, and that was never the intention. And for some of us Christians who would believe that, or may think that they just have to pray and pray and pray and things will happen. I hope you will come out thinking differently now, believing differently, because of course we have to pray, of course we have to praise and worship and all of that, but we have to take action. And when I mean take action, I'm not talking about working hard. So we need to be able to manifest money with less effort or effort.
Correct. Which pretty much works smart.
Yes.
Work smart as opposed to it's like you're sitting there. I used to give the example of somebody sitting inside a car that is being towed, and you're there on the steering wheel. It's not you that's doing the thing. Somebody else is dragging the thing along. And you're sitting there thinking you need to push you're hitting the gas, you still step on the brakes. For a car that's being towed, you're just spending energy that you don't need to be spending. So that's the whole idea. Not that you should not do any work at all, but that you should just work smart, do the right things, position yourself correctly, and do the right little things that go into success that are not always physical like that.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Then. I got you. I understood the whole thing. I've enjoyed the chat. Thank you so much for taking the time, because I know you're a very busy person. That's for sure. Especially with that book coming along, and then with your job and position. So for you to create time to come and do this, I'm really grateful.
My pleasure. Thank you so much again.
You're very welcome. Thank you. All right then.